Welcome back. This is Pharma Careers, clear role breakdowns, practical skills, and step-by-step career roadmaps.
All right, let's talk about one of the most crucial and honestly most misunderstood parts of the entire pharmaceutical industry, medical affairs. If you've ever wondered where the hard science meets the big picture strategy in pharma, well, you're in exactly the right place. So when I say medical affairs, is this the first thing that pops into your head? You know, the idea that it's basically a sales job just with a bit of a scientific disguise? It's a really common assumption. Or maybe you think of it as some kind of exclusive club. You know, a place where you can't even get a foot in the door unless you've got that MD after your name. That's a perception that can feel pretty intimidating, for sure. Well, let me just say, loud and clear, both of those ideas are completely wrong. The truth about medical affairs is way more complex, and frankly, a whole lot more interesting. So here's our game plan. We're going to completely demystify medical affairs by looking at what it really is. We'll introduce the key players, draw that critical line between science and sales, talk about the skills you actually need to succeed, and even lay out a blueprint for how you can get started in this field. So let's get right to the heart of it. If it's not sales, and it's not just for doctors, then what on earth is medical affairs? Honestly, the best way to wrap your head around it is to think of it as a vital bridge. Think about it like this. On one side, you have all this incredibly deep, complex science behind a new medicine. On the other side, you have its actual use out in the real world with real patients. Medical affairs is that bridge connecting the two, and their job is to make sure every piece of information that crosses that bridge is responsible, scientifically spot on, and totally compliant. And being that bridge means juggling a lot of different responsibilities. We're talking about really high-level scientific discussions with top experts, creating educational programs, training the internal teams, even fielding super tough medical questions from doctors. It's this huge, multifaceted role that's become absolutely essential as medicine gets more and more complex. Now, a bridge this important isn't built by just one person, right? It takes a whole team, each with their own special skills. So let's meet some of the key players you'll find on a medical affairs team. This really gives you a great sense of the whole team. You've got your medical information associates who are right there on the front lines, giving evidence-backed answers. The medical affairs associates are kind of the engine room, making sure everything runs smoothly. Then you've got medical advisors, who are the big picture strategists. And of course, the medical science liaisons, or MSLs. These are the folks out in the field having these deep scientific conversations with what we call key opinion leaders, the top experts in their respective fields. Okay, this brings us to what might be the single most important point to understand. We need to draw a very, very bright line in the sand between medical affairs and its commercial cousin, sales. Here's the deal. Medical affairs lives and breathes science and evidence. Their conversations are all about the data, about patient safety, about medical accuracy. Sales, on the other hand, is focused on commercial goals. Now, both have to follow super strict rules, but their core purpose is fundamentally different. And let me tell you, blurring that line isn't just a bad idea, it's a huge compliance risk that shatters the very trust that medical affairs is built on. Okay, so you get what the job is, you get how it's different from sales. Now you're probably asking, so what does it actually take to be good at this? Well, it really boils down to a specific set of essential skills. Think of this as your personal toolkit. It all starts with being a pro at reading and understanding clinical papers. Then, you need to be able to communicate what you've learned through clear medical writing. But it's not just about listing facts. It's about scientific storytelling, which is the art of making complex ideas simple without dumbing them down. And all of that has to be wrapped in an unbreakable commitment to compliance. And finally, you gotta go deep and become a true, trusted expert in one specific disease area. That's what makes you invaluable. This all probably sounds pretty exciting, but I know what you're thinking. How in the world do you get your foot in the door if you don't have direct experience? Don't worry, let's walk through a real, practical blueprint for breaking into medical affairs. This is how you prove you can do the job before you even have it. Don't just tell them you have the skills, show them. Create some sharp, one-page summaries of major clinical trials. Draft some sample answers to the kinds of questions doctors ask. Build a short, clear presentation explaining how a drug works. Seriously, when you walk into an interview with a portfolio of work like this, you're not just an applicant hoping for a chance, you're a candidate who is already proving they can deliver. At the end of the day, a career in medical affairs is built on one single thing: trust. The trust of doctors, of patients, of your own colleagues. And you don't get that trust by being the loudest or the flashiest person in the room. You earn it, piece by piece, by being accurate, by staying calm, and by letting the evidence guide every single thing you do. So when you really think about it, this isn't just about finding a job. It's about taking on a role, a real responsibility, to connect amazing science with the people it's designed to help. So the real question is, are you ready to be that bridge?
If this helped, like and subscribe. Watch the next video in Pharma Careers for the next role breakdown.